Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Little Marketing Podcast, where we provide small business owners across the globe with smart and tangible marketing advice for their small business. Now, today I want to talk about 4 considerations that you need to think about when marketing your small business that are going to make an impact in the success of the marketing and in the success of the time, energy, and skills that you invest in your marketing and in your business. As a business owner, you are super time poor, as well as energy poor and money poor as well. So I want to make sure that you get the best result from your marketing. So these 4 considerations today will help you to get the best out of your marketing and hopefully give you the success and the revenue and the profits you need to drive your business forward and generally make your business a success. Okay, so let's get into it. So the first thing that I want you to consider when doing your marketing is putting yourself in your client's shoes. So when you're communicating your business, whether it's on a website, whether it's through social media posting, whether it's through a video like this, I want to make sure that you are putting yourself in your clients' and customers' shoes and giving them the information and explaining what you do and how you help them in a way that they can relate to and that they feel like is a needs match. And that's what we say with all of our clients, is what you're offering a needs match to your ideal audience. So it's thinking about who your ideal audience is. You don't want to be targeting everybody and communicating to everyone. You want to make sure that you have a real focus in who you are communicating to so that they feel like there is a needs match. And so the best way to do that is to put yourself in your clients' or customers' shoes and think about the information and content that they will want to see from you to give yourself the best chance of them choosing you over your competitors. Now, as part of that communication in terms of getting a needs match and putting yourself in your client's shoes, make sure that the communication is nice and clear and easy for them to understand exactly what you do, who you do it for, where you do it, and why you're a little bit different. Now that leads us into point 2 that you want to consider when doing your marketing. So this second point is about making easy for your clients and customers, whether they be potential or existing, to digest the information and the communication that you're putting out there. So again, whether it's on social media posts, whether it's in a brochure, whether it's on your website, you want to make sure that the information is easily digestible. So what does that mean? It means being really clear in the information that you're putting out there. Again, regardless of the platform or however you're putting it out there, use simple language that, again, people can relate to. And again, it comes back to that first point of that needs match. If you're using language that they understand, that they will feel more comfortable, then it's for them. The other thing is, don't hide information. Don't hide it in like long pages of a website. Like the information that you think is going to make a difference, put on your homepage, put on your service or product page. Make it really obvious for them to find, so that they're not having to trawl through information, whether it's in a brochure or in a social media post or on a website. Make it really easy for them to digest. As part of that digestible, make sure that the language isn't too clever. Use language, again, that your audience can relate to, that's synonymous with your industry or their industry, depending on the product or service offering that you provide. Again, it needs to be relatable, so use language that they understand. And the other key element in terms of making it digestible is to make sure that the imagery that you're using, again, regardless of the marketing tool that you use, make the image relatable so they can feel like, yep, that's me and that is a needs match. So again, you're making it digestible. The more they feel like it's a needs match, the easier it is for them to digest that information, and the easier it is for them to remember it, and the easier and more comfortable they will feel that the product or service offering that you're providing suits them and is something that they want to purchase or trust or believe that will help them in their business or in their personal life, depending on the offering that you provide. The third point that I want you to consider when doing your marketing is making sure that the marketing that you're doing is discoverable. So what do I mean by that? I'm talking more about the digital elements of your marketing. So for example, when it comes to your website, what does discoverable mean? I want people to be able to find you in a really simple way. So that's where things like search engine optimization come into it. So essentially, search engine optimization is that if someone looks for the category of work that you provide. So let's pretend that you're a landscaper. So they type in landscaper in Sydney into Google. Then the ideal scenario is that your business comes up nice and high. So that is search engine optimization. The alternative to that in Google is doing a Google Ads campaign. So that would mean that you would set up a ad campaign within Google, and you would target people that are looking for landscapers in Sydney, and that would mean that as you'd know in Google, at the top of Google, the ads come before the other rankings below it. So by doing AdWords, you come up there first. By doing SEO, you come up in what they call organic rankings high as well. Now the SEO takes time to get to the top of the page, whereas an AdWords campaign, you can get up there immediately. It just means that you pay every time someone clicks on the ad. The other thing about me being more discoverable, so a lot of what happens on social platforms and platforms like YouTube, etc., is that if people find you once and listen to you, then the chances are that algorithm is going to feed them that information back to you. Now, it will only feed them back to you if you are regular in the content that you're putting out there and consistent. If you're very ad hoc and you do it like, once every fortnight, then you're probably not going to have the ability for that information to be fed to your audience who's already watched you. So the more consistent and the more frequent you are in your marketing, especially from a digital perspective, then the higher chance people have of seeing you a second time and a third time and a fourth time and so on. So again, being consistent and being frequent in your marketing allows you to be more discoverable with your audience. Now, being consistent means that you're committing to regular work and regular content from a marketing perspective. Again, time, money, energy, and skills, we spoke about that. So if you commit that time, money, energy, and skills into doing your marketing frequently, then you have a higher chance on the other end of it actually working for you. And the fourth key point, which we talk about a lot in all of our podcasts and shorts and all of our content, is making sure that you're creating and communicating some type of point of difference. So you can do a needs match and you can be discoverable, make it easy for people to digest and read information about you. But you need to make sure in all of that, the most important thing is that you're creating and communicating some type of point of difference. So your point of difference could be focused in and around the product or service offering that you provide. So what is it that you're doing that is a little bit different to the competition? It could be the location that you're providing that product or service offering to. Is that a real focus, and do you focus on a suburb or a city or a state and be the expert in that? Maybe it's the audience. We touched on that a little bit earlier. Maybe it's a particular audience that you focus on, depending on the product or service you provide. Maybe you target homeowners, maybe you target females 30 to 50, depending on what your audience is. Really have a focusing on that, and don't be scared to be explicit around who your audience is, because if they come across you and they know that you provide a product or service offering to them, then that is an absolute needs match, versus if you're being generic and they don't really know if what you do can help them, they're going to skip past you and look at a competitor who is more focused in their communication. And then also, because you focus maybe in on a location, an audience, and an offering, that really positions you then as a bit of an expert in your field. And so you want to make sure that you are communicating that expertise through all of your marketing as well. Remember, we live in such an over-communicated and cluttered world, and you need to find a way to cut through the competition. As I always say, positioning is all about positioning your business and your brand in the minds of your customers that is different to the competition, that eliminates the competition, or where there is the least amount of competition. So that's why that point of difference is so important. And so if we look at the 4 steps that we spoke about today, so the first one is making sure that you're putting yourself in your client's shoes. Second, that you're making it easy and digestible for people to understand what you do. Thirdly, make your stuff discoverable. And fourth, communicating some type of point of difference. So if you feel like you know a small business owner who needs a bit of help in their marketing and to find a way to stand out and do things a little bit differently, then share this podcast episode with them. Otherwise, we'd love a rating and review from all of our regular listeners. Otherwise, we'll see you back next week for another episode of the Little Marketing Small Business Podcast.
Please note that all the information provided on this podcast is general in nature and is not intended to be specific advice to your individual situation. Please be sure to engage a professional for a customized approach to your business and personal circumstances.